In this video, you're going to learn how to fill out a federal 1040 tax form. So to access the form in our practice, you were going to go to Unit 6, Learning Set 4, and then you want to click on the In-Class How to Fill Out a Form 1040. So in this area, I've given you additional information about Melinda Flowers. We want to fill out her 1040 for her. So some of her personal information is she is 18 and lives with her parents. She's heading to college in the fall. She worked around 10 hours a week during her senior year at a local ice cream shop, and she worked 40 hours a week during the summer. You also have her W-2 form, which gives you her employer social security number, information in boxes B through E about her employer, her address in box F, and then the numbered boxes contain money information dealing with her job. So you will need box F and some of the numbered boxes as well as A, because you will, whenever you fill out a tax form, you're required to put in your social security number. So to access the form, I've used an application called TeacherMade, and there's a link for 6-4 Form 1040 Melinda Flowers at the top. There is also one at the bottom of the page. So you click on the link, and it's going to prompt you to begin with Google. Make sure that you log in using your school email account, as it will save it. So if you don't complete it, you can always go back and finish working on it. So when you click on it, it will take you to the login for the TeacherMade site. You want to use your school email account, so that way you can make sure you get credit. And this is for Melinda Flowers. It'll tell you the name of it at the top. Hit begin with Google. You will log in with your school email account, and it will open it up. Now, what you'll see at the top, you can zoom in, okay, which I will do to make it easier to see on the video. You have a save for later button. So if you start one of the practice or the assessment 1040, and you don't have a chance to finish it, you can hit save for later. And if you exit and come back, it will take you back and keep exactly what you've already had filled in the boxes. This is why you have to log in using your school email account. When you're done, you click I'm done. And these forms, I have set them to auto grade. If you accidentally hit I'm done instead of save for later and you need to go back and make adjustments, make sure you email me. I can reopen your submission so that you can take care of it. So first things first, Melinda Flowers. It said she was 18, she lives at home, and she's going to college. So we need to pick her filing status. So it's either going to be single, married, filing jointly, married, filing separately, had a household, or qualifying widow. So she is single. So we click on there and it'll put a check mark there. Now, to get her address information that goes in this middle section, we would go back to our form and look at our W-2 form. And as you can see right here, this is her address. So her name is Melinda. Her middle initial is S. Flowers. So we're going to type in Melinda S. And in the last name field, we're going to type Flowers. The rest of our address is 456 Central Drive, San Diego, California, 92101. So in the home address section, you're going to put the number in the street. So 456 Central Drive. Under city, we're going to put San Diego. State, we'll use CA for California, and the zip code was 92101. So we still need our social security number. If you don't put a social security number on your tax return, they will send it back to you. So her social security number, and this is a fake one, is 987, 2 X's, 4 X's. So in the first box you type 987. In the second box you do the 2 X's. And in the third box you do the 4 X's. So they give you the opportunity to fund the election campaign if you want by donating the $3. So you can check it. It's not going to affect your refund or your tax you owe one way or the other. So don't feel any pressure to do that. Also, they are starting to ask about virtual currency because they're starting to realize that money is shifting that way and they are not getting part of it. So this gives them a way to access it. Now, standard deduction, we want to look at, can someone claim you as a dependent? So in this case, Melinda lives at home. Her parents are supporting her. So she is a dependent, and we would check the dependent field, you as a dependent. Now, you don't necessarily have to be a child to be a dependent. To be a dependent, for example, let's say another family member lost their job, like a sister-in-law, your aunt, your mom, somebody who can't support themselves and they've moved in with you and you were paying over 50% of their support. You can claim them as a dependent and then you will get a deduction for it. Anybody you claim as a dependent must be listed in the dependent section. You're required to have a social security number and their relationship to you. If you do not have a social security number for them, you cannot claim them. They will not give you the credit for it. So you need to make sure you have the social security number. So on the bottom half of this first page, this is where we're going to enter our income information. And the first thing we start with is wages, salaries, and tips. And this is from your W-2. So if we go back to our W-2, wages, tips, and other compensation is always located in box 1. This is the amount that we're going to put in there, $12,741. And notice when I put that $12,741, I'm not using the cents portion. They encourage you to round your dollars. It makes it easier on calculations, not worrying about the cents. And I also didn't use commas. If this was in a written form, commas can sometimes be mistaken for decimal points. This next section, 2A through 6A, these are other ways that you may get income. So, for example, 2A, tax exempt interest or taxable interest. If you have a savings account and you earn interest on that savings account, that interest that you earn is taxable. In line 3, A and B, that talks about dividends. And dividends are the money you earn on stocks and bonds when you were selling them or their performance. Lines 4, 5, and 6 all deal with retirement. So IRA is a type of retirement account that we'll learn more about when we get to the retirement unit. Pensions and annuities typically are for organizations such as state government, or for example, teachers are state funded, so we get pensions. Social Security you would get when you're 65. There are special circumstances. For example, say someone has a disability that causes it to where they cannot work. They can get Social Security benefits before the age of 65 if that happens. So in Melinda's case, none of these apply, and we would just leave all of those blank. Capital gain, that would be from the selling or loss or gain, for example, of an object. So for example, if you owned stocks and bonds of $20,000 and you sold them for $22,000, then you experienced a $2,000 capital gain through the sale of those stocks. Same thing with the loss. It would be if you sold them for less than what you bought them for. Other income from Schedule 1 we are not going to worry about in this class. So line 9, anytime a line has add lines, like line 9 or like a line 11 subtract line, you want to put something in the matching box to the right. So 9 is add lines 1, 2b, 3b, all the way through line 8. And if we look at all those lines, we notice that there is nothing there but the 12,741. So therefore, that would be the amount that we would enter in line 9. Adjustments to income, these are adjustments that could lower your taxable income. So for example, charitable contributions, that could be something as simple as going down to the local consignment store, in our case it's Vintage Values, and donating a bag of clothes. You can write those off and it will lower your taxable income. So Melinda has none of these, and if you look at line 10C, it says add lines 10A and B. There's nothing there, so that means we're going to enter a 0. Okay, so if there's nothing there, you just enter 0. Subtract line 10C from 9. So you need to think of this as, instead of saying subtract from, say take away 0 from the 12,741. So it's really 12,741 minus 0, and that would leave us with 12,741. Our standard deduction, most people end up taking the standard deduction, and that's typically more common. So off to the right of 12, there is this little bubble. This contains the information on the standard deduction. So you have to use your filing status. Melinda is single, so she is going to use the standard deduction of 12,400, and therefore that is what she's going to put in box 12. 13, she has no qualified business income. 14 said add lines 12 and 13, so be careful with this. Some people will mistakenly add lines 11 and 12, but it says add lines 12 and 13. Well, 12 has 12,400 plus there's nothing in 13, so line 14 would be 12,400. And now we're going to finally calculate what our taxable income is. So for that, we're going to subtract line 14 from line 11. So we are going to take line 14 away from line 11. So that would be 12,741 minus 12,400, and gives us an end result of $341.